There was a story again in the 1980s publication about Lindow Man having drawn the short straw. Have you come across that story about the burnt bread cake?
No,
do you know that story?
No.
One of the things that was said about Lindow Man was when they looked at the contents of his stomach, and presumably this was Lindow Man's last meal prior to his death. What they found was that some of the burnt bread from the bread cake he'd eaten, or some of the bread from that bread cake had actually been quite badly charred. And I think there was a suggestion, an argument that was made that this might have been the means by which Lindow Man had been selected. So it's a bit like drawing the short straw. You might have a bag of bread cake fragments, and you had to reach in and select one. And if you drew the bit that had been burnt, then tough luck. You were the one. You were the one to be sacrificed. And there's been again a lot of discussion about this, and there are some, I think, some folklore ethnographic stories from Scotland where selecting a victim in this way is recorded as taking place in the 18th century, though the victim wasn't killed. They were killed symbolically, if you like, by pretending to burn them. But in fact, all they had to do was jump over a fire, so they weren't actually hurt. But they were treated as the victim for the purpose of that kind of festival. And what I've been reading quite recently has been that this interpretation of the burnt bread cake may not be as authoritative as maybe we thought 20 years ago, and that another way of reading that bit of evidence is to see it maybe as some kind of form of humiliation of Lindow Man prior to his death. Do you have any thoughts about that, or the fact that we've now revised our understanding of Lindow Man?
Yeah, that's the first time I've heard about the cake. We were just told what he'd ate prior to being killed.
Right.
And that was it. Right.
Because now people have suggested that Lindow Man may have been selected as a victim and treated rather violently and in various ways to humiliate him prior to his death, which I think makes his death even more poignant. To think of him as nobly giving up his life, perhaps for the sake of his tribe, is one thing. To see him as someone who's been treated as a scapegoat and treated very badly, and then meeting his death on the peat moss and his body being placed in the peat is another way of understanding it. I think it makes his death even more moving for us than perhaps people said in the 1980s.
Yeah, we were told he was sacrificed for the wheat or the corn, things like that. They did things, sacrificed people for that, for the wheat and corn. Yeah.